Hello and welcome back, and a very Merry Christmas to you. This is Tammy. I'm actually posting this on Christmas Eve. However, this video is for the past 3 days, the 20th through the 23rd, and it's kind of been a little bit of a blur for me. It's been pretty busy, kind of doing some last minute Christmassy things and wrapping up work before vacation and all that good stuff. So, two of my spreads this week are kind of pre-started spreads. So this one, I chose this one honestly because every time I was opening the journal, the card here was just flapping around all over the place. I just needed to get it under control. So I decided that this one is going to be for day 20. And when I was prepping the journal, I had actually done a little bit of collaging here and there, and this card was one of them that I had pre-collaged. So what I'm doing right now is I'm making a pocket for the card to slide into, but I absolutely loved that black background with the star, so I didn't really want to cover that up. So instead, I decided to go with some tracing paper and decided to use that as my pocket so that you could still see through it, and the card would still be secure. So here I'm just reinforcing the opening of the pocket with some of that washi tape, and I chose the one that's got the black background with the white text on it, just because I didn't want it to distract from the actual background of the paper. So here I'm adding my Fabri-Tac to the edges, and in retrospect, I shouldn't have used that glue for this because it's tracing paper, so you can totally see through it. And there, yeah, you see the line of glue, and I'm realizing that right now. And so I had to go back to the drawing board on that and find something else to cover the edges with. So went into my lacy goodiness and just trying a few different things here. That's not a bad lace, but it's not quite right for the page. And then I remembered I had this one, and it's a little hard for you to see, but it's kind of a white satin with a silver filigree design on it. And it's not one that really ties into a bow very well, and just generally doesn't behave very well. So I tend not to use it, but actually in this particular instance it was the perfect solution, because it just needed to lay there flat and cover up that glue. So just measuring that out there, and now I'm gonna add my glue, and way more glue than I needed came out. So now I'm trying to deal with that situation, and now it's all over. And but luckily for me, none of the glue showed through onto the front side, and I was able to get that on there okay without any major things happening. My biggest fear was I was going to get a smudge of it right in the middle of that tracing paper or something, so thankfully that didn't happen. Okay, so here I'm just putting the card in there, making sure it fits and it's a little bit snug. So sticking my ruler inside and kind of just easing that open just a little bit. Yeah, and now it's right side up again. So, okay, now I'm oh yeah, I wanted to add a little something as a pull tab to the side, and that little, I went ahead and took that little strip of paper or fabric to the sewing machine. And since this is a card, it's not like I could have sewn the fabric right onto, I mean, I guess I could have, but instead I just did some faux sewing to the card, and then glued the tab onto the card at that point. All right, so now let's figure out what prompt we're going to use. And I chose number 3. What was the biggest lesson you learned this year? And as you see there, I'm circling number 2. totally didn't notice that until the next day. So it'll get fixed, don't worry. But for the rest of this little section, it'll be number 2. Okay, so got back my Finnabair metallic paints and chose that silver one that I had tried the other day and didn't really care for that particular spread. And for this one, I thought it was perfect because we got some silver going on in that ribbon and then the black background with the white. So went ahead and did that. Here we've got some Heidi Swap stickers that are just some big words, and I wanted to use that one that says remember. And because you really couldn't see that remember on just the plain black background very well, that's why I added the paint there. So I think it really helped. It may not show so well on video, but in person it pops out a little bit more than that. And then there were some of those really cool stars in the sticker sheet there, so I added those kind of as accents to the other stars that were on the page. And that's kind of how that turned out. And I like how that ended up. Okay, so now I'm getting ready to do my journaling, and I got another packet of Heidi Swap stickers and went ahead and chose this one. It says make time for, and just gonna put that down in my card here. In retrospect, again, I wished I would have chosen a black version of that, but it's okay. So yeah, just kind of writing about lessons that I've learned. The main theme here is my body is telling me I need to be a healthier person, and in this last year, I've just had some aches and pains, had a pinched nerve in my back. You know, just long hours of working, sitting at a desk can kind of do things that you don't realize until it really hurts. So kind of got over some apprehension about going to a chiropractor, and my chiropractor has really helped me a lot. And then on the last page here, just talking a little bit about I've lost about 25 pounds, 25, 30 pounds. So that's pretty fun. I would say since Thanksgiving, it's maybe more like 20 pounds. So I need to get back onto what I was on before Thanksgiving happened. So here you see I'm stamping number 2. And I will fix that the next time. But here's how that page turned out, and I'm actually really in love with this page. It's simple, but yet I think it's really interesting. All right, so day number 22. What day is it? Okay, 22. And then here I'm gonna talk about what are you proud of this year, and going and finding a page to write on. I didn't have a lot of time again today, so I went ahead and chose another page where I had prepped this page along with prepping for the journal. So I'm just doing my journaling on this card, and this day I'm talking about how proud I am of where PlumFiggy has gone this year. I spent kind of a lot more time and effort on my channel, and just really been enjoying creating the journals and sharing them with everyone, and really just proud of how the social media part of it has gone. So yeah, did my title, but I didn't like the way it looked, and I tried to make it better with some lines, and that didn't make it any better. So rewrote it on that lighter color of paper, and then did some more stuff that I don't love. Honestly, I'm most likely going to go back and change the whole top of this again because I don't like how this turned out, but I'll do that off camera, and when I do a flip through at some point, you'll see the updated header of this. But yeah, it just keeps getting worse and worse the more I add. Thinking washi would make it better, and it really didn't. So adding the number 2 there, and then that was that day. So now we're on the 3rd day. Here I'm showing you, yes, I did fix that number 2. It's now number 3. And gonna go find a page to work on for day number 3. Prompt. I think I've decided what I'm gonna use. Yes, I did. Okay, so we're gonna talk about what song gets me in the Christmas spirit, number 29. Which for me, being a musician, music is very important to me. I chose this big, huge, long spread. It's actually kind of like 2.5 pages. And here I'm just showing you the songs that I chose. Asking me to choose a favorite Christmas song is like, yeah, I can't do it. There's just too many. I love them all. Well, not all of them. There's some that I don't love, but most of them I pretty much love. So yeah, just gonna spend a little time here trying to arrange and decide how I want these to be laid out on all of these pages. I did rip the top of those 2, and then you'll see in a second here, I've changed my mind on that. I wanted to keep all the lines pretty clean and straight, so I'm gonna go back and re-tear them here and keep everything pretty straight and tidy. I really wanted the music to be the feature on these pages. It was actually, honestly, it was really kind of hard for me to do this spread because I wanted to keep the music intact, and it was hard for me to tear it up like this. And for me, I actually, I'm looking at the music and I'm reading it and kind of like, I'm singing it in my head as I'm looking at it. So interrupting that sometimes is a little bit of a challenge for me. But in the end, it all turned out pretty well. So yeah, so just spending some time here choosing how much of each piece to keep and how much I'm willing to let go of. This Angels We Have Heard on High, one of my favorite parts of the whole thing is the Gloria part, and so I definitely wanted to keep that in the spread. So yeah, so okay, I think I've kind of decided how I wanted them sort of laid out, and just starting the inking of the edges process using my Tim Holtz Distress Ink in Vintage Photo Color, and inking them up and gluing them down. And I think probably what I'll do is turn on some music, very fitting, right? And let you watch the rest of this, and I'll come back at the end. All right, so just finishing up here, and you saw I had to go back to my music book to find another song because I just needed something else in the middle here. Chose Oh Holy Night, and got the first part of that going. And then here I'm just finishing up the last little flap and needed to fill in some space, so found some of those extra pieces that I had torn off earlier and just going to use those as kind of background and inking up the last ones. And then I'll glue those 3 down. Got a little crazy with the distress ink on that one there. And yeah, so really enjoyed making this spread. It's something that just Christmas music just makes me so happy. So I'm just really trying to celebrate it here. And then now I think I'm looking for. So there was one piece of music still left. That was to the Joy to the World that I have. Yeah, there you can see it there. It's from an antique hymnal, and wanted to make that the feature piece. And here I'm just looking through some papers that I had pulled out to maybe use in my December journaling, and chose this one here with the red. I thought it was just a gorgeous color of red, and it just really, the colors just really worked well. So just measuring the paper there and cutting that out. And then since that hymnal page was so delicate, I held it onto the cardstock behind it to ink the edges. Never thought of doing that until just then, but boy, it worked really well. So if you're ever in that situation, try that out and it might help you. And then I was super happy that I glued that down really straight and pretty even on all 4 sides, very first try, because it's not like I was going to be able to get it back up again. So then just going back to my washi and chose yet again that black background with the holly and berries, and then pulled out some thickers here to use on my journaling area, and used that word favorite, and got my alphabet, me and my big ideas stickers. And I didn't want to waste your time with this, so kind of fast forwarded there for a bit and spelling out Christmas songs with that. And now I'm just trying to decide where I want that to go. It's a fun little trick if you haven't tried that before. Keeps all your letters straight. I try to do that every time I do something like this. So, and then here I'm just journaling, kind of talking about what I've already said, how Christmas music is so important to me. I'm actually one of those people that's the weirdos that if it's the middle of summer and I need a little pick-me-up, I might throw on some Christmas music. My favorite Christmas music to listen to is more of the instrumental, not so much the poppy stuff. I just really don't get into that. But the traditional Christmas music is what I get into the most. And yeah, here at the end of it, I'm kind of saying, yeah, there are a few songs that I don't care for, but I'm not going to waste my space on that journaling prompt to talk about that. So, so here I am. I'm just going to throw this onto the flap here, and we're going to call this spread good. All right, so, oh, yes, and I have to put my number 29 on the top here. So gonna do that, and then I think that's it. Oh, no, it's not it. There's more. I felt like since I play handbells throughout the year, and especially at Christmas time, I felt like I needed to represent that. Pulled out this Bo Bunny stamps Yuletide, I think, something collection, and trying 2 different colors. I ended up with the copper, and then, oh yeah, showing you the alphabet stickers that I used. And then here I'm going to turn this into a little tuck spot. And then I'll add a tag in there at some point, maybe, of something. I don't know what I'll put in there. But there we go. That's the end. I hope you enjoyed the last 3 days of my journaling. And I hope you have a very Merry Christmas. And I will see you in a few days. Bye.